Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our Chá da Tarde. My name is Thalissa and it's a pleasure to be here today. Today's episode is really special since it's the first one to be done in English. So the topic we'll be talking about today is bilingual education. But before we start, do you know what bilingual education is? Bilingual education is a pedagogical approach that prepares the students for the mastering of a second language. This concept is getting more and more important in Brazil since it gives many advantages that support students' professional and social development. However, this is a brand new concept in our country. For this reason, this is the subject our guest is contemplating today. This is Professor Jessica Akemi Kawano Ribeiro. She graduated in philosophy from UEM, pedagogy from UniCV, and besides, she holds a master's degree in teaching from UNISPAR. Currently, Jessica is taking an undergraduate language course and also doctorate in linguistic studies. Hello, Jessica. How are you?
Hello, Thalissa. I'm good. How about you?
I'm fine, thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
That's nice. So, Jessica, I have here some questions so that we can discuss a bit about bilingual education, right?
Sure, go ahead.
So the first one here, it's very common regarding English language it's very common regarding English language teaching that the students look mainly for native teachers as a way of learning faster and better. What do you think can be the most important role of an English teacher from Brazil in a bilingual context?
Well, I think that the very fact that they have the same native language is already very important. I think they can feel connected to us in a way. They feel related to us and we can feel related to them as well. I think sometimes they feel a little shy next to a native instructor. Yeah, it looks like they are perfect or something like that. Of course, they can also feel shy around a Brazilian teacher. But I think this relation that we have, with the same language can help. But as I said, sometimes they also feel shy around us, even if we are Brazilian. So it's not only a point of being native or being Brazilian or whatever. It's also we need to take care of what we do, what we say, our approach, and methodology is also very important, of course. But I think in summary, that's it. I think the very fact that we have Portuguese as something in common is already very important.
Yeah, that is true. It seems like it's possible to learn English, right, with a person that has the same mother language as they.
Yeah, we are like a model, it looks like sometimes, right?
Yes, that is true. And number 2 here, could you mention some of these strategies and how could they help in a classroom or other English teaching context?
Yeah, sure. I think that using the Portuguese language can help sometimes. It's hard to say that because I know some methodologies don't like that. They don't accept using Portuguese inside the classroom. But I guess that even if you cannot use Portuguese inside your classroom, you can also think about that. You don't need to talk in Portuguese to talk about these things. You can approach this in English, of course. But for example, I like to tell my students, look, this is similar to Portuguese, like related to tenses, for example. So when we talk about past continuous or used to, I don't know for you, but for me, they are the same, right?
Yes, you're right.
So when you tell this to them, they feel like, oh, okay, this is not so hard. I use that every day. I just need to change the words, let's say like that, but the structure is the same. So I try to do that. And I also do the same with pronunciation, for example. So we can tell when a pronunciation is the same in Portuguese and in English, and also to tell them when they are different. So, look, this pronunciation, we don't have this one in Portuguese, like the TH that usually is a problem.
Yes.
So look, this one we don't have in Portuguese, so take care. You need to practice more. Yeah, try to do some exercises looking at the mirror, So I try to do these things. And here phonetics helps a lot as well, of course. But I guess if you can make this relation between their language and English language, it can help. even to say that it is more difficult, so they need to practice more. But remembering then all the time this relation between the two languages, in my opinion, it can help. Yeah,
Yes, I agree with you.
yeah, I
Yes.
try to do that in my classroom, and I think that it helps a lot because the students feel like English is not a hard language. English is a language. Yeah.
Yes.
So usually people know Portuguese as a hard language. And we speak Portuguese, right? And for us it's like very easy peasy, right?
Yeah.
So I tell them like, look, you speak Portuguese. You can speak anything you want.
That's
Of
right.
course, just kidding, right? But we don't have such a thing as an easy language and a hard language. We have languages, and when we can relate to them, I think it helps us to see them in a different way, like to feel that English is not harder than easier than Portuguese. It's just a language, but even if they have different roots, they have a lot in common.
Yeah.
So like it's not like learning Chinese that it has a very different structure. They have a lot in common. Yeah. So I think it may help.
Yes. And also, there isn't just one English, right? People's accent, people's dialect, it changes English a lot. So sometimes people think, I need to talk like this person. But we already know how to speak Portuguese, and we are using what we have in Portuguese to when we speak English, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think
Yes.
that's a very important point when we talk
Right.
about bilingual education. They feel like I need to have a native teacher because I want to sound like a native person, and this is
Yes.
impossible. Let's say the truth, right? Because being the fact that we are not native speakers is part of ourselves. It's not going to change our accent, our dialects, and we have to be proud, like, because
Of course.
being born there
Yeah.
and speaking, okay, that's easy, right? I
Yeah.
speak Portuguese as well, but it's studying a lot, learning. So I think we have to show them this pride of not being native, you know?
Yes. Very good. I agree. So the next one here, how do your students react to that? Do they understand and agree when you talk to them about those things?
Well, usually yes. Thankfully, the results have been great so far. Of course, I think it's impossible to tell them, like, you need to think like me. So I have some students that I know, like, they want to sound like native people. And I try to help. We have phonetics and everything. But I try, like, step by step to change their minds a little bit, to think about that. Like, what is a native speaker? Because we have native speakers in many different countries, not only British people or American people. Like, what about a Jamaican person, for example, or Australian, Canadian? So which one you want to be, right?
That's why we have English as lingua franca, right?
Exactly, that's true.
Yeah.
And I think most of them, they are studying English and they are not using English to talk to an American. Maybe they will use English to talk to a Japanese person, to a Germany person, the lingua franca, as you said, right? So I think the accent as something like, oh, I need to sound native, sometimes it's something that doesn't work. Because even inside the same country, inside the same city, we have differences in accents. When we think about Brazil, for example, like Portuguese, we have Portuguese, so many different Portuguese, right?
Yes, that's
In
true.
Portugal and even inside Brazil, we have like, I don't know, even inside the same city, if a person is older, depending on where the person lives. So I think regarding to that, it's important to remember then about it. Like, what is to be a native speaker? Yeah, so I try to tell them that. I also like to tell them, like, do you think that any Brazilian person could be a very good Portuguese teacher? And usually they say, of course not, because my mom or my neighbor, they don't know Portuguese. And they say things like that, right?
Yeah.
And of course, they do know Portuguese, but being a native speaker and being a teacher, being a professor, they are totally different things. So that's what I try to tell them. And of course, again, what we talked, I try to remember them that not being native is okay. Yeah, we can communicate, we can do things, we can use English in very different situations. and don't need to be always thinking, oh my goodness, am I sounding
Yeah.
native enough?
Yeah. It's something interesting because people think that when we are learning English, we need to think in English, but it's not going to be like this. It's not happening. Sorry.
Yeah, like you cannot translate, you have to
Yes.
think in English, and it's very hard because our mother tongue, it's gonna be with us for the rest of our lives. So
you're
I
right.
think, yeah, we need to
Yes.
accept it
Yes, just accept it.
and use it as a tool. Yeah, not seeing Portuguese as a problem, but as a tool. I think it can help not only the students, but also us as teachers, because we also have our problems, right? We struggle a lot sometimes.
Yeah, you're right.
And
Yeah.
that's another reason why they can connect to us. We know how it is to struggle with accent, vocabulary, grammar. We have been through the same things. Yeah, maybe in different levels, but we have been there as well. So I think that's what I think.
Yeah, I agree with you actually.
Oh, perfect.
So yes, thank you, Professor Jessica. That was a pleasure having you here today to talk about such an important topic as bilingual education,
Oh,
right?
sure. No, thank you for
And-
having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Also, thank you all for watching and listening to this podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on UniCV's channel and follow us on social media. Until next time, guys.
Bye.